What up, dude? Welcome to Free for All Friday right here. You know who it is. It's Detroit Lions on the Prowl. It's your man, Kurt Steele. And I got my dude, Smoking Jeremy B. Is in the building. When people come in, we're going to add them to the stream. But thank you for tuning in for Free for All Friday. You know how it goes. It's Friday, then, hey, it's Saturday, Sunday. What? Hey, Smoking Jeremy B. What's going on, my dude? How's it going
Oh,
today?
just happy I finally got something to make it so I can go to YouTube and get it right.
Yeah, so make sure you go over and check out his new show. It's called Kneecap Biting with Smoking Jeremy B. So go over there, check it out. It's on. He has it on YouTube and definitely has on Facebook because runs that Motor City Kneecap Biters Facebook page over there, and there's some good content over there on that
I
channel.
I
All
also
right.
shared it on the Lions Nation Unite app.
Okay, yeah, go over there and check that thing out. So we brought to you by Lions Station Unite. It is the ultimate virtual hangout for Detroit Lions fans. We got some few people coming in, but let's get into some questions, man. Because me and Spoken Jeremy B, we always can chop it up. All right, so first up, do you think the Lions, now that have seen Malik Willis up close and personal, do you think they draft him?
Please God, not before the third round.
Now there
That's
is
all I got to say.
Now there are some rumblings that Detroit might take him, or you look at where some other teams he may be drawing interest for some other teams that may need a quarterback, and now it is looking like they may be able to trade down from the number one overall pick. So that's what I'm looking at. I'm thinking like, yeah, they see them up close and personal, and maybe you have some things where his performance is looking where it may have improved his draft status, but the combine's coming up, so there's a lot of time between now and the draft. But what do you think about Malik Willis and the Lions? Now they've seen him up close and personal. Now I don't know if you saw this, but there's a picture floating around on the interwebs. You know how they call it, old folks call it, with him with a Lions hat on down there in Mobile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know. Here's my thing. If you're going to take them at 2, hell no. If you're going to take them at 32, it's a maybe. But let's say we package that 2 and 32 and get all 3 picks from Philly. I'd be down then grabbing them at 34 or 66.
Okay.
Because we can actually have enough picks in that first round to get what we need and not really give up anything else.
Right.
Because at 15 and 16, you can grab Devin Lloyd and probably either Jamison Wilson or Treylon Burks or Drake London. And then with that 19th pick, you grab Biskner or Cine or whoever. You can't say Battle because Battle's going back to school.
Right. So, I mean, there's a lot of options. I think seeing him at the Senior Bowl and seeing some of these prospects down in the Senior Bowl, that to me kind of looks at it where they can say, hey, we're not kind of pigeonhole with the number 2 pick. We can trade back and we can get some more talent. There's a lot of talent out there. This is especially in this type of draft. This is a defensive heavy draft, especially the first couple of rounds. So you're gonna be able to get some good pieces on defense. And someone said this to me the other day. I think we want starters in that first round, in our first couple of picks. We don't want guys that are projects. Any type of quarterback we pick up in this draft is going to be a project guy.
Which is why I said second or third round, I might be all right with it, but not in the first. In the first, you want a bona fide starter. If you pick in the first 15, you want a home run playmaker.
Okay.
If you pick 15 or after, you want starters, solid starters that are going to be with your team for 3 to 5 years.
To me, I'm looking at those first 3 picks that we have because they're so close within those first, 34 picks. I want starters from all those 3 guys. I want those 3 guys to be starters for a while on our team. Definitely. Let's kind of go to some comments, saying we got John Kapler. He says, all right, all-star cast. Me and Smoking Jeremy B. We're always an all-star cast right here. Forbidden Nada says, what up, though? Proud Nation. Dan Spano says, happy Friday. Hey, happy Friday to y'all. Y'all know how it goes down. Here's the queen of the proud. She says, sorry, y'all. Jim's computer failed and my phone wouldn't let me use StreamYard. But we know you here in spirit, homie. You know what I'm saying? You're going to hold it down in the comments. Sub Z Trap City Boys Entertainment says, let's go with the fire and the lion emojis. All right, we got somebody coming in to the building.
Shame.
Y'all know who it is. Y'all see that logo up there. It's Luke G's of Luke G Fields Review, also known as Shame on this show. Don't love it like you do. What's going on, my dude?
What's going on, gentlemen? How y'all doing?
Fantastic.
We doing
Hey,
good.
listen, it's a real good day to talk sports, and I think that it's because most people either are at home with their kids because the kids out of school, or at work and the day is going kind of slow, but they're not working too hard today. A lot of people just on chill mode today.
All right, so I'm gonna double back to the first question, Luke G, and since you weren't here for the first question because we only had one question so far, do you think that the Lions have seen Malik Willis up close and personal? Do you think they draft him?
Nope, not a chance. It's a pipe dream. I think that most fans want it because they want, we get a Lamar Jackson type player, but nope. I think when you look at it, if you listen to what Dan Campbell said and listen to what Brad Holmes said, they have to have grit. They have to have certain types of personalities and things like that. How do they handle adversity and stuff like that? All this hype about the Lions being in love with this person, and it's one thing to say that they're in love with him, but it's another thing where you're coaching a game that he's in. You better coach him up. That's your job to put him into perspective. But I think that they are more impressed with Sam Howell and Zappy, in my opinion. Just based on like what I've seen from the practices and stuff, I think they're more impressive with their accuracy because he's been inconsistent. He's made some passes where you be like, oh, that's beautiful. But it's happening when nobody's rushing at him. And then when people rush at him, it's like, oh, well, what's up with that?
Well,
like my son right now, he look like Verlander. If you ask him to throw a baseball at you and there's nothing going on, he looks like Justin Verlander getting the ball out. But let him be some pressure on, you're not going to get the same player.
Right. Yeah, I think what the quote the other day was is that he made 3 of the best throws at practice and 3 of the worst throws at practice on that first day of the Senior Bowl practices. So, I mean, we'll see what's going to happen with that. But, a lot of that, that's the chatter. We saw with Smoking Jeremy B, we're talking about it, the hat. He was running around Mobile wearing a Lions hat. But, hey, a hat's a hat, because if you look at it, what's that Melvin Gordon was wearing the Lions Scully one time out there in Wisconsin, and he never touched any or close to Detroit. So
plus it's smart to do that. It's just self-promotion. If I'm trying to get the most money, do I want to be picked second overall or do I want to be picked in the second round? So it's like, I'm gonna rock this Lion hat. Look, I already got pride, but guess what? Your skill set don't say you get the Lions pride. You're too inconsistent.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so looking at
bring up that chat from Sage Roberts.
Yeah, let's look at the chat. He says second round, I'm cool with Malik. Or said if we trade back into the second after our 34th pick for Malik Willis, I don't want him.
He's not gonna let that long. It's no way he's lasting that long. It's too many teams.
There's about 4 teams that need a quarterback this year, and he's the 4th best one, and that's not saying much.
And to take it a step further, you already know Pittsburgh is looking to do something with their quarterback position. They could
otherwise they're stuck with Haskins or Rudolph.
Well, again, I see them saying, "Hey, we might go forward with Haskins," but I don't think he makes it to the second round. I would be shocked if he made it to the second round.
Yeah, let's look at some more chats. All right, Queen of the Proud says, "I hope not." She's talking about no Willis. Definitely, I don't want Willis from Dan Spanos or any other quarterback early in the first. I think everyone on this panel agrees with that 100%. John Kapler says no quarterback the first 3 rounds. I'll agree with that 100%. Granzier 12 says, hey, Kurt. Hey, JB. You know what I'm saying?
Guys.
What's going on? Granzier, you know what I'm saying? What up, do? No Willis from Queen of the Proud, Valerie Bordeaux. All right, so let's get into this next question because we're going to have to talk about some more stuff at the Senior Bowl. It says, okay, what Senior Bowl prospect that the Lions have coached up? Who is your favorite one so far? I know who my answer is, but looking at who we've looked at so far at the Senior Bowl, who they've coached up, who is your guys' favorite prospect but those guys have kind of coached up. What you got smoking, Jeremy?
That Calvin Austin and how smart he looks as a wide receiver because he's big, he's kind of quick. I like that option. I kind of like the linebackers on the Jets side way better than what's on the Lions side of the ball because like Channing Tindall and Troy Anderson and Chad Mumo, woo, that's a tough linebacking core for an all-star team.
Okay, all right. What you got there, Luke G?
The more I look at this, the more I'm coming to conclusions that the Lions got to get. They're going to get at least 2 or 3 players from this group. And in my opinion, I'm hoping one of them is Christian Watson, the receiver out of North Dakota State University.
Yes.
The more I watch this dude, the more I'm like, how in the hell are we not talking about no more? And he may mess around and sneak himself up to the first round, depending on how he do at the combine. Don't let him mess around and run a high 40. He ain't even got to get a 4.5. At 4.5, he good. He'll probably be a second round pick, maybe third round pick. He hit 4.4 and under. He's a first round pick.
Okay.
And so I hope we can looking at a guy like that. And then I did a live film study on this guy, Boye Mafe, out of Minnesota. He's one of the very few prospects that I ever did film studies on where I'm saying to myself, it's just discipline on top of discipline on top of discipline. And he has so much effort. Those 2 guys jump out to me real big time. Right. Another guy is that is a small school guy, but he stands 6'3", and he impressed me with the way he was covering Watson and how he covered. I'm drawing the blank on the damn receiver's name. From the Alabama one. God damn it.
Jameson?
No, from the northern Alabama. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but he was covering him, and I was like, "Damn, who's this guy?" Step for step with him, and I'm like, a kid named Joshua Williams who went to a HBCU. And I'm like, okay, so I've been watching him. Now, there's one name that I'm just praying to God that we stay away from like the plague, and that is that Goodrich out of Clemson, number 31. Him and Booth, stay away from them too, please. Please stay away from them.
Another late round prospect that's not in the Senior Bowl and didn't play in that East-West Shrine game that I like is that Allie Green, the 5th. That kid's got some height, some wheels, and does decent in-air ball coverage.
Okay. All right. So my guy is Jermaine Johnson II, the defensive end out of Florida State. And the reason being is that he has some comparable as far as pass rushing skills. You look at some of the guys that, that's bigger names in front of him. Guy had 11.5 sacks last year. I mean, the guy can get it, and he's coachable. Calvin Shepard said something to him about him the other day. He was saying that the kid was coachable. He was like, okay, you're down here and we know that what your skills are. We've watched your tape, but this is the things that you could do better. And instead of arguing with, Calvin Shepard, he said, got a coach, and he, improved or did some things different. And I like the one-on-one drills he had with Deuce Staley set him up with earlier in the week. And he actually, did some good things. So he's one of those guys where, if we want to add some depth pieces down the line, he may be a guy who may improve our defensive line or outside linebacking core down in that, third round, looking at it, where I don't think he's a first or second round talent, but he's maybe one of those guys that may come around in that third round who may be available. If we choose, to trade back from that, that number 2 pick, and we're not picking Hutchinson or Thibodeau, I still say the Lions. I still don't think the Lions would have picked either one of those guys for some reason. I don't know. But what do you guys think about Jermaine Johnson II?
I like him. The kid's got a motor. He's got smart, and he improved like they asked him to. I mean, what's not to like? That means he's coachable.
Yeah. What you got, Luke G? Or
he's got it on mute. He must be on the phone or at work or something.
Maybe. All right, we'll come back to that one. All right, let's get back to the chat. All right, so
go ahead and bring up that one from Brian Stover because he needs to shut up.
let me get to some other people before we get down to him. KG says, "What up, guys? Happy Friday." All right, so looking at it, what you say, Brian Stover, Joseph Murdoch says, I'm sure do hope that they get Hamilton at number 2, or even better out of the trade down out of the number 2 pick. I believe that 100%. I think that they will. All right, we got a lot of comments to get to.
I know,
Brian. All right. Dr. Detroit says, what organization is dumb enough to pick him at number 2? Who was we talking about?
He's probably thinking about Hamilton because who's going to take a defensive back in the top 2?
The Lions took a defensive back in the top.
That was with Quinn. Quinn.
Man. All right. So any Bears players, but actually, if you look at it, he's rated the number 2 or 3 prospect in this draft.
Fourth. He's rated 4th.
Is Kyle, or depending on who you're looking at. But he is up there. All right. So I'm not seeing Brian. Which Brian Stover comment are you looking? Are you talking?
He said, "Hey Kurt, why do you have Jeremy on there?" Because
okay, here it is. All right, here you go, Brian Stover. Why do you have Jeremy with you, Kurt? You need someone who has who knows something about football.
Yeah, you know what? Can we go back a little bit just for a second?
What you got?
And it's not directed at the person who made the comment. It's directed at the idea of the comment.
Okay.
What is wrong with taking a player of any caliber 2nd overall? If the pick is right, who cares? Right? Like, for example, look, if you go back to the draft where Tom Brady was at, who was mad? All the people who passed on him. You have to get the pick right. I don't care where you take them at. Give me the best player that's the right pick. If the pick is not right, then I get it. Troy Polamalu probably should have been the 1st or 2nd overall pick. But because they keep following this same dumb trend where you don't get no value here because you're stupid. And the teams who think outside the box are succeeding. It's a reason why the Rams keep returning to the playoffs and getting to championship games and stuff like that. It's because they think outside the box. Yep. And at some point, we got to do the same thing. What player are we getting 2nd overall that's going to give you more impact than a safety who can cover the whole field? I'll wait.
Yeah, I mean, he's one to me. Looking at his intangibles, looking at his, his height and his coverage ability, I would love to have him back there roaming the secondary backfield. But I mean, the guy can cover side out on the sideline in that back end. Has great speed, great length. You know what I'm saying? And this coverage skills is ridiculous. So I understand what you're saying.
And he's good at run support. And you got to ask yourself this question. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news for people, but let's be honest. Once you go past Tracy Walker, who's our best safety?
Nobody.
I know. You, Jeremy, and me. That's our best safety. Come on. Come on, man.
And it's so, I mean, like, you look at one of our biggest holes. I think I would love to have those two. If you look, you can sign Walker back with a friendly, a cap friendly deal, and have them, because he's been playing great, especially around the line. This last year, especially him playing inside the box, is one of his best years in Detroit. And I'm looking at that. Led the team in tackles. He was just a dog this year, and I like him in that defense. Had to have those two guys in the back end. That is something special. And you get those young corners out there with the tutelage of Robbie Pleasant and if he stays Aaron Glenn, you can build a very big, very good secondary. Back there for Detroit. So let's get to the next question here. All right, so Antoine Randall L. You heard his comments. He says he wants the Lions to draft 2 wide receivers and to sign 1 in free agency. So speaking of the free agency point, Lou G, what wide receiver should the Lions sign in free agency if they can? Who you think? Okay, this guy will be good fit for the Lions.
Okay, if it's free agent, everybody's going to go Chris Godwin. Everybody's going to talk Allen Hurns and all this other stuff. Sign your guys. Bring back Raymond, right? Just sign your guys. Because in my opinion, I don't think we need to go too far out. Now, if you want to trade for Tyler Johnson from the Buccaneers, right? And if you're going to go into the draft and you want to take 2 receivers, well, you got options for days. He didn't say you got to take him first. He didn't say you got to take him second. He said he just wants 2 receivers. So take him where you go take him and see him fit. This is a deep receiver class like it is every year. And the transition for receivers into the NFL is not as harsh as it would be for other positions. But in my opinion, I think Antoine Randall is sending us a different message. And I think it's not just him. I think it's other people who are sending the message. and it's something that I'm gonna say for my show tonight, but I'm gonna just tell you right now. If the Lions draft a receiver high, I want y'all to hear this and hear this good. If the Lions draft a receiver high, say goodbye to Quintez Cephas. Say goodbye to what's my man name? Josh Reynolds. Because what they're going to do is they're going to work the hell out of Amon-Ra St. Brown in the slot, and they're going to take the rookie to be number one. And then what they're going to do is they're going to take one of these other unknown receivers for cap issues and let him run. Because at that point, I know between my slot and my one and my tight end, I don't really care who the two is. He out there as a decoy. So if you okay with Quintez Cephas and us possibly losing Josh Reynolds, okay, take two receivers. But if you take two receivers, where you putting them at?
Right. Somebody's got to go.
Yep. Can't keep them.
Yeah. All right. What you got, Smoking Jeremy?
I believe they may sign a free agent one, but like I said, we don't have nowhere near the cap room we were going to have because they restructured Vitae. So with that being said, after the rookie contracts are figured out, which they calculated it on over the cap at $9.9 million, we only have $23.9 left. You cut Flowers, that adds another 11.7. So that gives us about $35 million total. You want us to re-sign all these players, there's only so much we're going to have to sign people. It's going to be just better quality prove-it players than what we signed the year before.
Right. I think the free agent wide receiver he's maybe talking about is Josh Reynolds. I think that's the guy he may wants to bring back.
Yep. Bring your own guys back. Bring your guys back.
I think that's the guy he's talking about. I think you look at the help because he's not an all-star receiver. We all know what he is. He is what he is, but he brings something. He brings a level of comfort to your quarterback, and that's the type of weapon that we want on this offense. And you look the difference that he made on the field. It's just where it kind of clicked and the game opened up for Jared Goff. And you JG did better in that second half of the season with Josh Reynolds. And I can't say that it was just Josh Reynolds, because people say, well, you're saying it's Josh Reynolds. No, it was the actual with Dan Campbell and Ben Johnson opening up that playbook and taking over that play calling would help Jared Goff as well. But Reynolds definitely added a level of security to Jared Goff that he needed for the rest of that season. So I'm down with them, drafting a couple of young wide receivers. It's going to, some of those guys aren't going to fit. I don't think, even though he had a good season, I don't think Raymond's going to come back. I think they're going to replace him. They're going to go younger. And I think the one guy that we bring back may be a Josh Reynolds. Quintez Cephas hasn't been healthy. And you look at this regime, what is the one thing they've been doing since day one? If you can't get on the field, you got to go. If you can't get on the field, you got to go. So if Cephas can't get on the field, we got to go. That's just what my thought process is right now. Let's get back into this chat, man, because we got plenty of comments. All right, Dr. Detroit says the draft guru Scott Biscoff is saying that Malik Willis at number 2. Yeah. It won't be Detroit taking him. That means we're trading out. If he's at number 2, that means we're trading out. Do y'all agree with that?
Yeah.
If he's at number 2, then
we're out.
Are trading out.
We're out.
Yeah. We're not at number 2. We're not taking him at number 2. All right. So here we go. Sage Robert says, Jeremy, if we trade for Eagles 3 picks, Ahmad Gardner better be one of those Detroit native, didn't allow a touchdown in 3 years. That's the guy.
He won't be there at 15.
Right?
Yeah, he won't be there at 15 though. There's teams ahead that need corners help. That's why I didn't even mention him, because he's been going anywhere between 8 and 12 in most mocks.
Oh, okay. Definitely. Yeah, that kid's a beast. All right, here we go. One Pride 40 says, Luke, what do you think of Khair Alam?
Yeah, that's the cornerback out of Florida. He's decent, but I am gun shy of any Florida cornerbacks in the NFL.
What you got, Luke?
I can't look at Tease Tabor and then say, oh, they all gonna be like that. But my problem with him is exclusively with that particular corner. Is when I watch tape on him, I find myself asking 2 questions. One, yeah, he can tackle, but everybody just they route run his ass to death. And I did not like that there was no physicality off the line of scrimmage. There was no press, no pop, no savviness. I mean, he's an opportunistic corner, but for me, I mean, how far you? I mean, you tell me taking him in the first 2-3 rounds? Nah, I'm good.
Okay,
I'm good on that.
definitely. All right, so here go John Robinson. He says, "Are the Lions driving up Malik so someone will make a trade?"
That makes more sense to me that it's a smoke screen.
That is a good comment. I'm liking that. I'm liking because there are there's a quarterback need for some of these teams in the league, and this is a very, very small quarterback class in this draft. So that may be right. I think the Lions definitely have a chance to trade out of that number 2 slot. What do you got, Luke G?
I don't think they're hyping them up to get trade partners. I don't. I mean, it's possible that they could be doing it, but I don't. I just think that narrative is a little old and dated. The truth is this. The Lions general manager has already said he's open for business. He's not hiding it, right? He's open for business. We can talk trade. But the truth is this. Nobody in the NFL thinks the Lions are going to really draft a damn quarterback at 2. Nobody's scared of this. Nobody's scared of this. So they know that Jared Goff is their guy. And so, no, I think what they're doing is they're trying to create enough buzz for him so that their guy can fall to them. Yeah, go get this guy. Because the guy we're going to take with our second first, I need him to get down there. Oh, he's great. He's great. Zappy's great. You know that kicker we got? He'll drill it from 100 yards. So, yeah, you try to do it from that regard. But I think it's more so a strategic move to try to get people to fall in love with other people so they can move on down and the guy that they won't fall to them.
All right. Definitely. All right. So here's a one. John Kapler says, I'm sorry. Not that comment I want to. We'll come back to John Kapler. Facebook user says, what if the Lions draft Sewell this year from Utah, reunited with his big with Penei Sewell in Detroit?
That wouldn't be bad. He is a day 2 pick as it stands right now. He's going like late 3rd to early 4th. It wouldn't be bad, but we don't have a 4th rounder right now. So that means we definitely trade back to get a 4th rounder, or we trade up using next year's extra picks.
Okay. All right. So John Kapler, this is for you, Jeremy B. Wait, they did restructure Vitae, pump the brakes. I didn't know how much and how long.
It saved us about $7 million in cap, and it stretched it out so he's here for basically 3 years.
Yeah, definitely. All right, definitely. All right, so Sage Robert says, I want the Lions to a more metallic silver and a new color scheme. The Lions are up for, and that's just one of the things I'm kind of gun shy about buying a new jersey, because I want to wait to see if they have new jerseys this year. So I was going to buy a jersey this offseason, but I'm like, wait a minute, you know what I'm saying? So if you're going to get a jersey or a t-shirt or something, go over to fanatics.com. Links in the description. So go over there and check it out. You know how we do it. Hey, if you want to check us out on a different platform, go over to Lions Nation Unite. You can watch our content right over there in that app. Smoking Jeremy B's over there. Luke G's over there. It's just a whole plethora of Detroit Lions content creators over there at Lions Nation Unite. So go over there and check us out over there. And if you want to get yourself some Proud Nation gear, go over to lionsontheproudshop.com. We got some new gear coming out soon. We're getting with some guys over at Lions Nation Unite. We're going to have a retool of all of our gear. So we're going to have some new fresh gear coming to you real soon with their partnership over there at Lions Nation Unite. Let's get back into these questions because we got some juicy ones coming up right here. All right. So what are your thoughts on Terrell Austin accusing the Lions of giving him a sham Rooney Rule interview? Luke G, what do you think about Terrell Austin's pretty much saying, hey, the Lions did it to me too?
I mean, he's not lying, but the problem is it's going to always be a sham interview, because the Rooney Rule was supposed to be the first step into trying to create equality in the way that the hiring process worked. The problem is now some people just see it as more of a formality and just simply do it to be doing it, whereas they're not seriously considering it. Now, do I think that's wrong? No, because if I have in my mind who I want to be my next coach, and no matter who y'all tell me I got to interview, this is my business. This is how I want to run it. If I don't want that dude to be a coach, I don't want him to be a coach. And so But the reality is, yeah, he got a chance. Because the moment that they got rid of him, a lot of Lions fans, including myself, was like, well, give Terrell Austin a shot. We ended up with Matt Patricia,
Right.
and the ironic part of it is this guy was here already with an opportunity to continue what he had already started with this team. They had already had a rapport with him. They liked him. The defense was based off of a lot of things he wanted to do. You completely change it up, and now we end up in the 3-4 with Matt Patricia. So yeah, I mean, I don't think he's lying about it, but they are going to be sham interviews when you're have a rule that's forcing it. It's just that they need to keep working on getting it right. And they've even tried to include picks, but yeah, it's just. I think he's being honest.
Yeah, I think the Rooney Rule, as it stands right now, is in its current configuration is not going to work. It hasn't worked for years because you have teams just checking the box. Excuse me, they're bringing in candidates just to make sure that I met the requirement. I interviewed this guy, and I heard a comment on this one, and it said that definitely was. It may have not been any type of racial bias, but when they fired Jim Caldwell, they already knew, like Bob Quinn already knew he was going to hire Matt Patricia. He already knew he was going to do that. So he just interviewed some candidates to make sure they check the blocks and get so they can go ahead and hire Matt Patricia because it was the homie hire from the giddy up. He already knew that he was going to hire Fatty Patty, and that was going to be the Lions' next head coach. To me, the whole thing about the Rooney Rule, it's the spirit of it is you're supposed to give a serious look at coaches of of minorities and actually really give them a chance to interview and give them a chance to be a coach and rise up the ladder. But change like that doesn't come easy, and you have to kind of make it a way where it's you're really changing the hearts and minds, not just the actual or maybe the pocketbook of some of these guys. Because if it's not enforced in a way that's conducive to actually really making change, they're not going to go with that. They're going to find a way to kind of skirt the rule and just do what they want to do.
Not to mention, it happens on a smaller level, Kurt. I see it all the time where jobs where people are getting, like, supervisors are interviewing people, but they all alone, they knew it was going to be their brother-in-law or their sister-in-law or their sister or their friend or their cousin. It's happening all the time. The problem is that's the way the world works. Networking. The more people you know, the more opportunities you probably have. It's just the reality of how it goes.
Yeah. So that caveat of sometimes is not what you know, is who you know. That definitely, when it comes to jobs, goes a long way, especially with networking. Well, you got Smoker Jeremy B on Terrell Austin saying the Lions gave him a sham interview, Rooney Rule interview. When they
95% of the time, when you're looking for an unproven coach, you have to check your boxes. They already know who they want 9 times out of 10 going into it. So yeah, because of the Rooney Rule, which is a stupid rule the way it's worded right now, they have to do so many minority interviews. Doesn't matter what ethnic background or skin color, they have to do it. So they do it, and then immediately after they get the right guy, you hear the second interviews come up, and the first guys aren't on that list.
Right.
So yes, it's a sham interview, but they're checking the box per NFL. So the problem isn't with the team. The problem is with the rule.
Right. Well, I don't know about the problem not with the team. The problem is with the team somewhat. I would say this, because if you already know, my thing is, if you have already, like with the Giants thing, they already knew they were going to hire Brian Dable. Did you actually really give Brian Flores a chance when he interviewed? Brian Flores is a proven winner. He made the Dolphins. He took them from really a poor team, and we're going to get into this a little bit more in the next question. But he took them from a losing team nobody. And gave him a winning record 2 seasons in a row. But
he never beat anybody. He never beat nobody. But Kurt, that's the problem. He was Jim Caldwell, but younger. He never beat nobody. Go back and look at their schedule this past season. The only quality win, if you want to give them one, is the New England Patriots. Everybody that they beat up when they get those wins was the Texans, the Jets, like all these bottom teams. No, the Jags beat them.
Oh, that's right. The Jags did beat them.
So
I'm just saying, I'm just saying you gotta look at. And the other thing is this: from what I remember, I could be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I could be wrong. I remember that they already had interviewed their minority coach already before they interviewed him.
Before they interviewed Brian Flores.
Yeah, and I think the rule was
the Giants or the Dolphins.
The Giants.
The Giants.
I think the rule got changed to where you got to interview two. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I could have sworn that they had interviewed like a minority coach or so before then. So I mean, I don't know. I'm just talking about how you said that he get a fair shot. Yeah. I think most times when you go to the interview, they don't get a fair shot. When Louis Riddick came in here, I was praying he never got hired. I'm not a fan of Louis Riddick. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, no, I don't like the way he thinks. The half time he says stuff that I just don't agree with. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, I just feel like let those people hire who they're going to hire. And if you start to see patterns where it's like, oh, you haven't did this, it's like, okay, now we got to do something.
Okay. All right. So let's get back into some of these comments. This is for you, Luke G. It's Micro Mike over there at Lions Talk with Micro Mike. Luke G said the Lions should hire Patricia back with the owner, GM, head coach.
No,
you petty, man. Mike petty. Ain't no way in hell.
Be on some stuff, man.
Ain't no way in hell. Trying to get me riled up. No, I'm not. Not even engaged in that one.
Mike be over, man. He was the same guy who said he wanted
Mike hitting the pipe this morning.
He said he wanted Antonio Brown to be the new GM. Yeah,
right. Yeah. He trying to rile up some stuff. What you're not gonna do is get me today, okay?
Yeah. All right. So Val says, I know you choosing violence, people. Okay. Yeah. So it says that your Bears finally got a good coach. I mean, who's that coach? The Eberflus?
His name is Eberflus, but I've already heard some Chicago fans calling him Everlose because they're going to forever lose behind him. But that's beside the point.
Oh man, that is definitely. I hope. Yeah, I hope that's the case. Ever lose. All right, let's let's hit grand jurors. It says too many focus on Flores 7 wins, but not 7 losses that put them in the situation to begin with. I don't know about that one, but we'll keep it rolling. All right. Maniac Sports says, hell no, they didn't. They dare hire Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn back. No, we're not. We definitely ain't doing that. No. Definitely are not doing that.
We're gonna let Bob Quinn be the scout for the Cleveland Browns, and what he's gonna do is every time he says, "Hey, we should grab that guy," he said, "Okay, mark him as not being picked."
All right. Definitely. All right. So. Now here's a definite one that's what do you guys think about the paying for tanking allegations going around the league right now? This is the really, I think right now is a big scandal right now. If you're looking at saying I'm going to pay you $100,000 for each loss, and that's not just Brian Flores, you're talking about Hugh Jackson saying that the same thing happened with him up in Cleveland. That's an integrity of the game issue, and
right.
We're
looking at something could be a bigger issue. What you got, Luke G?
So I was on the Man Hour yesterday. Shout out to them, and we was talking about this, and he brought up to my attention. I did not realize that the owner of the Dolphins also have a betting. He's the owner of a betting site, a very well known one, DraftKings. And I'm like, how is this not a conflict of interest? They made Mark Cuban get rid of his in the NBA because it was a conflict. Yep. So if you're telling me that you're going to pay him $100,000 to tank and then turn around and cite and the reason you're letting them go and going in a different direction was record, hold up now. And the fact that is happening, and I'm not shocked because when they were doing the tank for Andrew Luck stuff and all that, I'm like, bruh, y'all are not that bad. They were putting people on IR for no reason. Like I'm like really, hip pointer, really. So I'm not shocked, but you're right. It questions the integrity of the game, and to me, it took years. In other words, meaning that it took a whole other generation of kids to get over what happened with the NBA's scandal, where you find out that not only did it happened to the Pistons, that a referee was throwing games to win money.
Yep. If
this comes out to be true, I don't even know how I can enjoy watching NFL football.
Yeah, definitely. To me, this is more of a bombshell to me because I think that we already know the Rooney Rules is trash. So, but the allegations of saying you want to you are paying this guy to tank games. That's bananas. I'm like, wait a minute. And I'm like, hey, man, what are we really talking about here? We're talking about people threatening the integrity of the actual game. You are disrespecting the shield. You're disrespecting the players. That's just one of the biggest forms of disrespect, because you got guys that do that dedicate their whole lives, their bodies, their mental, their families, they put all that stuff on the line to go out there and play on the field for you and your team and your city. And you are trying to get a coach to tank games. That is a thing that is, I can't look at that guy. I mean, if that's the case, even up in Cleveland, if that's the case in those two teams, the ownership should be they should be forced to sell those teams. I mean, they should be forced. I mean, there is no room for that in the game. What do you got, Smokey Jeremy, be on the tanking allegations?
The tanking allegations? I think the owners who actually run the NFL, Goodell is just a figurehead paid by them. They should get together and boot that owner out of the league. Period. If you're willing to pay your coach to tank, you need to be gone, because that is 100% a defamation of the integrity of the Shield, which is what Roger Goodell and all the owners talk about all the time.
Yeah, it's you really can't look at. I can't look at that situation and say, hey, and Hugh Jackson and Brian Flores saying that they have tangible, proof that they were getting, that this is an issue where they were getting paid to tank. And if you look at the situation, like, okay, even if Brian Flores would have tanked, right? He tanking games to get, if he'd have tanked those games, he wouldn't have got a chance to coach Joe Burrow, because he'd have tanked them and he'd have got rid of Brian Flores and brought another coach in to coach that team. He wouldn't have never coached if he'd have tanked, would have never coached Joe Burrow, because they were like, oh, okay, you lost all the games. I can use the tanking to get you out of here and fire someone else. But the tanking, and I just can't believe that this is I can't believe. Let me say it again. I can't believe that this is an issue, but the way that it came out, it's hard for me. That's a hard pill for me to swallow. Like, you're trying to pay a coach to tank. What coach in their right mind would do this? You know what I'm saying? Like,
and for what draft pick though? Think about that. For what draft pick? You was asking him to do this in what, 2018 or it's like
2019.
2018.
It would have been Joe Burrow. Would have been the number one pick they were looking for.
Yeah, come on, man. Come on. And you ain't got nothing. Okay, I'm gonna be quiet. I'll be over here.
Because that was the that they end up settling for Tua that year.
And Brian Flores didn't want Tua, but the GM did. He wanted Justin Herbert.
Yep.
And I think that's why he didn't tank. If he was going to tank, he would have tanked for Burrow over Tua all day.
All right, so let's get a few more of these comments in. Big West Tenement says, tell Jeremy to come out of that closet he is in.
I'm actually in an office. Sorry.
I don't know what that means. But
it's funny.
All right. Just happy we'll never be accused of tanking. Nah, we don't take, we just lose. We don't take, we just lose. And it's not for effort of trying. Because we try our hardest. If you look at that team this year, we tried our hardest to win games, so we play definitely. Grandier says the media kept saying that the Miami was tanking for Tua. They were incorrect. It was for Burrow. I believe that 100%. They were trying to tank for Joe Burrow. He was the better prospect that year anyway. If you look at that draft, he was the best quarterback in that draft. I mean, the guy was phenomenal. That last year he had over there at LSU. I mean, the guy won the national championship. He won the Heisman, and now he's playing in the Super Bowl. So, hey, it is what it is. All right. So,
I just feel bad because I feel like Nick Saban told us a long time ago what's going on over there, and we ignored it. Remember when Nick Saban left because he said that he didn't say it till later, but he said that they had a doctor who was telling him and everybody else that Drew Brees was still hurt, that injury wasn't going to heal. And he's like, there's nothing wrong with it. He like, I had my own personal doctor look at it, and he was perfectly fine. His doctor looked at it, he's perfectly fine. They didn't know what the guy was talking about. And the owner was like, well, we're not getting Drew Brees. And he told him, okay, well, I'm going somewhere else because y'all not committed to winning. And so at that point, people should have knew that it was some stuff in the game, but they just, like most times, they stay quiet until more come out. And if I'm Brian Flores, I wouldn't have tanked neither, but it's got to be a hard situation, being a minority head coach and being told by your owner to tank, and it's all going to reflect on you. That's got to be hard.
Yep.
Definitely, because it's not going to reflect on the owner. The owner, they never really get, blame for wins and losses. It's always the coaches. So
unless you're the forwards, everything is blamed on the forwards. Like, I laugh at fans who be like, sell the team, and I go back and I look at the Pistons, and I'm like, well, that got sold. How's that working out for us?
Man, working on it all right now. I says Michael Huck says, if I'm paying good money to attend the game, I want my team to try and win. That's really the big thing that we're kind of really getting into with the tanking things. That that the integrity of the game thing is just, that's a really hard pill for fans to swallow. Like if I was a Dolphins fan, I'd be really pissed off right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're trying to get our team to lose, and I'm paying all this money to come to the games or buy your merchandise, or what I'm saying, and you're trying to get us to lose. That makes no sense whatsoever.
Here's one on that. If the Lions were tanking, when they saw the score with less than 7 minutes to go and the Jags were that far ahead of the Colts, they never would have tried against Green Bay to win that game.
Right. Now, here's one. I don't really agree with this statement, but the Facebook user said the Lions should have drafted Justin Herbert, but took Jeff Okudah. But the Lions had Matthew Stafford. They weren't in the market for a quarterback at that time.
They were in win now mode. They had to replace Darius Slay. They couldn't do it in free agency because there wasn't enough cap to sign anybody. They went with Jeff Okudah, and he actually was the third best player on that big board, on everybody's big board.
So no, he wasn't. Don't lie like that. No, he wasn't.
Yeah, he was.
He wasn't on a lot of draft boards. He was the number 3 pick in a lot of draft.
No. Let's go back. You can literally name the player. First of all, Isaiah Simmons should have been the pick. Let's get that out the way. Okay?
Oh, I know that.
And we wouldn't have to hear about this linebacker safety crap that we're dealing with now. That's one. Could you imagine if we had Isaiah Simmons and Kyle Hamilton? I'm gonna leave that alone. Anyway, no way. There was. I don't care what they board said. The Luke G board said he ain't worth a top 10 pick. It's a whole video showing you piece by piece of proof that he wasn't worth a top 10 pick. He got killed in the Michigan game. Peoples, you know how I feel about Nico Collins, even though he embarrassed me in the draft with the Texans. But you know what? They was killing him. And he got killed against Clemson. But he's the number 3 overall. No way. Nope. I don't think nobody. If a person had him number 3 on their big board, cancel them ASAP.
What happened? He got canceled. Bob Quinn got fired, so he got canceled. All right. Last question for the show before we get into our final thoughts and everything. Are you watching the Senior Bowl or the Pro Bowl this weekend, or both? What you guys, Luke G? Are you gonna watch some of this Senior Bowl or the Pro Bowl this weekend?
Senior Bowl, I'm all in on. Pro Bowl, I can care less. I just don't care. I don't. They're not playing for real. The last good Pro Bowl that I watched, Sean Taylor was hitting people and made everybody start playing for real. That's the last one.
And I don't think you ever see that again.
No, you're not gonna see it again. I mean, he literally hit like that. Like, dude, this is for free, not for me. I'm like, I love him. I just love him. So yeah, I'll watch that, but I'm not yet. I don't care about the other ones.
Yeah. To me, I watch more of the little competitions at the Pro Bowl than I will actually watch the Pro Bowl. You know what I'm saying? That stuff's more fun to me than the actual Pro Bowl. Pro Bowl is just a glorified walkthrough. I mean, that's just what it is. All right, Smoking Jerry B, are you watching the Pro Bowl or the Senior Bowl this weekend?
Senior Bowl. I watch the Pro Bowl skills competition tomorrow, but I have no desire to watch what is very close to a flag football game.
Yeah, definitely. And to the defense of the players, right? And some of these guys, if you look at the way that the NFL, the type of game that football is, that to play in a Pro Bowl yeah, we know it's supposed to be an honor to get selected to a Pro Bowl, but those guys ain't trying to risk their future on a game that doesn't count.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like they're not trying to risk their money. They're not trying to get hurt. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be a glorified tag football game in pads. They play a two-hand touch in pads because they don't want to mess up their money or get injured because they're out there playing in the Pro Bowl. Yes, they say it's an honor because the guys do say, hey, it's an honor to get selected to the Pro Bowl, but they don't want to go out there and get hurt, playing a game that pretty much is meaningless. Has no impact on the season. It's not like they were, a few years ago, they had it for a while for the MLB All-Star game. The winner of the All-Star game was the host for the World Series. That's where it was going to start. The NFL has already come up with a system where they rotate the AFC and the NFC rotate whoever hosts the Super Bowl each year. So like this year for the Super Bowl, even though it's played in the Rams Stadium, they're the road team because it's already predetermined that the AFC was going to was the actual home team in the Super Bowl. So, but I'm going to watch the Senior Bowl myself. I will if I actually click on the Pro Bowl and it's on. I won't say I won't stay on there until a commercial, but I won't probably stay past it.
Those are facts.
I mean, hey, if it's on, I might stop. Hey, there's a play, but I'm looking at it and I'm like, hey. All right, it's pretty cool. But let's get back to these comments. Definitely. Oh man, I got my son-in-law. Actually, my granddaughter Avery on my son-in-law's account, Raymond Solis. This is my granddaughter Avery. She says, "Hey, Papa. Hey,
little one.
Baby, what's going on? Hey, Papa's girl. I appreciate you stopping in the show and talking to your Papa here on the show. I am definitely chilling.
I can't wait for them days. I cannot wait for them days. I'm a granddad, man.
It does my heart good, man. I love my granddaughters, man. They are so sweet, man. And hi, Avery, and tell Spencer I said, what up, dude? Val says, I'm watching both. Football is football. You know what, though? It's going to be not too short time where we're going to be watching some USFL here in a minute, man. I can't wait for that to start.
USFL and also the XFL added another team for semi-pro in Detroit. There is now the Detroit Demons.
Okay, so definitely going to be looking at that. So I like watching the football. I haven't watched the Pro Bowl since it stopped playing in Hawaii. Actually, I was stationed in Hawaii during those times when I was in the military, man, and that was always a good spectacle. We always could get tickets for the Pro Bowl. They would always come out and give them to the military. That was always good. Super Cyan Lion says, I think Jermaine Johnson is someone the Lions really look at in this draft. We were talking about him earlier, and I think that's somebody that they can look at because I think that they're going to be out of that number. They're going to trade out of that number 2 pick, and they're going to look at some guys down the line, and he's one of those guys they can pick up for their. There's
a lot of good edge rushers in this draft.
And if you look at it, what the Lions have invested a lot in their edge already. I mean, look at this. If you still have Charles Harris, who's a candidate to be re-signed. You got Romeo Okwara, who just got signed. You got Junior Okwara on that roster too. We have to get rid of Trey because it's getting kind of crowded. So I think we need to get rid of Trey Flowers.
And they already announced they were doing that already. I think he's gone.
Yeah, I think he is. All right. So Grandeur 712 says, does Detroit have an arena football league now, team? I don't think so.
I don't think so, but we're talking actual football in the spring, XFL and USFL. We got the Michigan Panthers and now the Detroit Demons.
Okay. Yeah. The USFL this year, all the games will be played in Alabama. So there will not be any quote unquote home games in a stadium in Michigan for the Michigan Panthers. But that team, all those games for the whole entire league will be played in one area, I think, and it has to do with logistics and pretty much just money. It's better for the league right now to kind of start small and move back up.
And probably COVID protocols, no less, too.
True. That is very true. All right, now it's time for final thoughts for the show. Thank you for everyone for putting your comments in the chat. We appreciate you hanging out with us for Free for All Friday on Detroit, right here, Detroit Lions on the Prowl. Like I said, if you're going to get yourself some Lions gear, I might hold up on a jersey, but go over to fanatics.com. There's a sale going on right now. You can get yourself some gear on the low. So go over there and check that thing out at fanatics.com. Link is in the description. If you want to get yourself hooked up with some Lions gear, some Lions on the Proud gear, go over to lionsontheproudshop.com, get yourself some Proud Nation gear. We still rocking it over there. And like I said, we're going to have some updated gear coming to you real soon. All right. So Grandeur 7 says Schofield Barracks in Hawaii. Yes, I was at Schofield Barracks in Hawaii. I had two of my best buddies got stationed there after Fort Campbell. Yes, I was at Schofield Barracks from 2005 to 2008. Holding it down over there. I worked at the finance office on Schofield, and then I taught BNOC over on Wheeler Army Airfield. All right, Michael Huck says I was stationed at Schofield from 83 to 84. I was actually in middle school during that time frame.
Thank you for your service, boys.
You know how we get down. All right, well, man, Smoking Jeremy B, what's your final thoughts for today's show, my guy?
My final thoughts is whatever happens in the draft, I trust in what Holmes is doing because he did great last year. I mean, there really wasn't any questionable early picks. Levi came on late because he was hurt for half a season. I'm interested to see what he does in year 2 because he didn't play that much and he started coming on after 5 games, kind of like the whole team did.
Yeah, definitely. My final thoughts definitely as far as what's going to happen in the draft. You look at we're going to start our draft coverage a little bit later on. We're going to do free agency first, but if you look at it, I'm looking at this draft. I'm looking at where Brad Holmes. I'm just kind of trusting what he's doing. I'm trusting the process on this one. I'm kind of doing the Philadelphia 76ers, trusting the process with Brad Holmes. I think he has a plan, and I think that he knows how to wheel and deal. And he's not one of those guys where he keeps all that stuff close to the vest, like Bob Quinn, where he's like, hell yeah, open for business. So if I can make some deals and you want to make a trade for a player, hey, I'm happy to go ahead and make that deal. So come on here, with the blue light specials on, you can get us, you can get this pick, but it's gonna cost you. But hey, we'll see what's gonna happen. As far as the other situations in the league, I hope that they definitely have an investigation about those paying for tanking allegations down in Miami and in Cleveland. And if those those owners are found that they actually have proof of that happening, those owners need to be removed from the league and be forced to sell their teams. That's just because it's an integrity of the game thing, and we shouldn't stand for that as fans in the league. Of the NFL, tanking is paying for tanking is terrible. So, but other than that, I appreciate everyone for coming through and hollering at us and holding it down with us right here on Detroit Lions on the Proud for Free for All Friday. You know how the song goes. It's Friday, then hey, it's Saturday, Sunday. But now we're gonna kick it over to the always inspirational, because he inspires me a lot when he gives his talks at the end of the show. My man, Luke G.
Thanks, man. Hey, I appreciate everybody for coming in here, rocking with us. Those who hit the subscribe button, even those new ones who are listening, not quite sure yet. You don't want to miss a thing here. It goes down. We're talking all things Detroit Lions, and it's going to be free of politics, free of all the other stuff you're going to see. It's going to be here. I can't end the show without doing it on a positive note. Today's positive quote comes from me. It's simple. I have started a campaign since May 30th. Of last year, since May 30th of last year, a dear friend of mine committed suicide, and I started a campaign. And in that campaign, I decided that before every show that I start, I'm going to put out the suicide prevention number. And the response that I have gotten has been overwhelming. So my positive quote is simple: let your voice be heard. You don't know how much power you have until you say something. Every single word out your mouth can be held on to, because that can be somebody's life waiting to just be told, I love you. That's somebody waiting out there that simply just needed somebody to acknowledge that I'm here. I've been in places and seen things that I have not thought that I would ever have opportunity to see. And it took a simple word from somebody to get me in the right direction. Open up your mouth. When you see those people you don't know, say good morning, good afternoon. Don't be shy. Don't be afraid to say, how are you? And when a person tell you okay, ask, oh, tell me about it. Give me some good news. And if it's not so good news, be prepared to just listen. The best thing about you lifting your voice is also being able to take a second to stop and hear what the other person is saying. Sometimes the greatest thing you could ever do is just listen. You don't have to say a word. You can listen, and you can hit them with a hug, and you can hit them with a kiss, or whatever it is that you do, a fist pump or whatever. But know that you have power. Know that you have an inner voice in you that makes you a superhero in ways that you didn't know. And when you realize it, all I'm asking you to do is what you're supposed to do. Be human and love someone.
Definitely. Thank you, Luke G. We appreciate those kind words. And he inspires me all the time. He always gives me a good word of a good word, and a kind word can go a long way. Just a how you doing, or a hey, or knowledge to someone, or just being kind, opening the door. That goes a long way. You never know how that may affect someone, and it may help them just kind of boost their day. Hey, thank you all for hanging out with us right here on Detroit Lions on the Prowl for Free for All Friday. You know what you guys do. Wipe them crumbs off your face, finish your drink, and get back to work, baby. If you're at work today, you know what you guys do for your boy Kurt Steele. Whatever you do in life, you got to boss up, ball out, and be the best version of you that you can be. This is Kurt Steele for my man Luke G and Smoking Jeremy B. This is Detroit Lions on the Prowl, man. I'm so happy that you gave me those words today, because those words count, man, Luke G. And we will holla at you real soon. We love you, Jim.